Welcome to Nation of Glory. The story of Roman Reigns has always felt bigger than wrestling. It has never just been about championships, rivalries, or dramatic moments inside a squared circle. It has been about a man shaped by legacy, tested by adversity, transformed by circumstance, and elevated by sheer will. The rise, fall, and return of Roman Reigns is a journey woven with triumph, pain, evolution, and rebirth, a journey that continues to evolve in 2025 as the tribal chief stands once again at a defining point in his storied career. Roman's rise to prominence was never an accident. He was born into a family whose history is etched into the very foundation of professional wrestling. From the earliest moments of his life, he was surrounded by legends, guided by greatness, and influenced by the power of storytelling. Yet Roman's path was never guaranteed. He had to carve a place for himself in a world that expected him to follow in the footsteps of giants. His early days were filled with uncertainty, criticism, and the constant pressure of unfair comparison. But Roman's resilience pushed him forward, and with time, he evolved from a promising performer into a force of dominance. The world remembers his ascent, the moment he stood as a future star, the anticipation surrounding his potential, the belief that he would shape WWE for years to come. But with that rise came challenges. Roman was placed under the spotlight in ways that would have broken many. He carried expectations, both from fans and from the company, that demanded he reach heights he was not yet ready for. Yet he continued to grow, to learn, and to adapt. Roman understood that greatness was not earned through moments alone, it was earned through years of persistence, evolution, and the courage to embrace change. Despite his rise, Roman faced a fall that reshaped his entire life. It was a fall marked not by defeat in the ring but by something far more personal and profound, his battle with leukemia. The moment he announced his diagnosis, the wrestling world stopped. It was no longer about championships or rivalries. It was about a man fighting for his life, fighting for his family, fighting to survive. All the cheers and boos faded as Roman showed a vulnerability that humanized him completely. He walked away from the ring not knowing when or if he would return, but the world united behind him in support. Roman's battle with illness changed everything. It strengthened his spirit, deepened his purpose, and reshaped the way he approached life and his career. His absence created a void in WWE, a reminder of how much his presence meant to the company. But more importantly, it gave Roman the clarity to understand who he truly wanted to be, not just as a performer but as a man. When he returned, it wasn't just a comeback, it was a rebirth. Roman returned with a new fire, a new identity, and a new level of confidence that transformed him from a respected superstar into a commanding presence unlike anything WWE had seen before. He embraced the persona of the tribal chief, a character that was not merely created but born out of truth. It reflected his heritage, his authority, and his role as the head of a legendary bloodline. Roman crafted a new era, one defined by slow-burning storytelling, psychological intensity, and an aura that commanded attention every time he stepped into the arena. The tribal chief era became the peak of Roman's rise. He captured championship after championship, led the bloodline into legendary status, and delivered performances that redefined what wrestling storytelling could be. His dominance became the center of WWE's universe, pushing the company into one of its most compelling eras of character-driven narratives. Roman became the benchmark, the face of the industry, and a symbol of greatness that others could only chase. Yet even at the height of success, Roman understood that every reign must one day end. His fall would not come from weakness but from the natural progression of storytelling. Roman's journey saw him face challengers who pushed him to new limits, betrayals that shook the foundation of his empire, and emotional moments that reminded fans that even kings are vulnerable. The fall was not the destruction of the tribal chief, it was the evolution of a character built to last beyond title belts and championship streaks. When Roman stepped away once more, it was not due to defeat, it was due to reflection. After years of carrying WWE on his back, he needed space to breathe, to recover, to rediscover the man behind the character. The absence of Roman Reigns in WWE echoed across the industry, creating speculation about his future and curiosity about what might come next. Fans wondered if they had witnessed the end of an era or if the tribal chief would rise once again. His return in 2025 answered that question. Roman Reigns emerged once more, not in the same form as before, but transformed by time, experience, and newfound clarity. His comeback was not loud, it was controlled, powerful, and deeply impactful. The moment he appeared, the atmosphere shifted. Fans felt the familiar energy, the unmistakable confidence, the aura that only Roman carries. His presence alone reminded the world that he remained the centerpiece of the WWE narrative, regardless of how long he had been away. Roman's return was fueled by purpose. He knew that every new chapter had to mean something. He did not return simply to reclaim the past, he returned to shape the future. The industry had changed during his absence, and Roman saw new challengers, new rivalries, and new dynamics that offered opportunities for fresh storytelling. Yet, despite the shifting landscape, Roman still stood as the standard. New stars rose, but none carried the same blend of charisma, authority, and emotional depth that defined Roman's presence. As Roman steps deeper into 2025, the question on everyone's mind is what direction his story will take. Some believe he will reclaim championships, others think he will pursue rivalries that were left unresolved, and many feel he will evolve into an even more complex, layered version of the tribal chief. Roman himself seems to embrace the uncertainty, understanding that unpredictability fuels excitement and makes every moment memorable. Roman's return also carries emotional weight. He recognizes that time moves forward, that eras end, and that legacies are built not through a single moment but through decades of dedication. But Roman is not ready to step aside. He feels the fire within him, the same fire that drove him from his early days in WWE to the heights of global superstardom. He knows he still has stories left to tell, battles left to fight, and a legacy left to strengthen. Roman stands today at a point in his life where he no longer seeks validation. He seeks meaning. He seeks the kind of storytelling that resonates deeply with fans, that creates moments people will talk about for years, that shapes not only his future but the future of WWE itself. Every decision he makes now carries weight. Every feud he enters carries history. Every appearance holds significance. His rise showed the world his potential. His fall revealed his humanity. His return reminds everyone of his greatness. This triad, rise, fall, return, is what defines Roman Reigns not just as a superstar, but as a legendary figure in the history of professional wrestling. In 2025, Roman's story continues to expand. The tribal chief persona remains alive within him, but now carries a deeper layer of wisdom and evolution. He is more dangerous, more calculated, and more compelling than ever before. He steps into each moment with purpose, knowing that his presence alone shapes the direction of WWE. And as fans watch closely, they feel the anticipation building. Something big is coming. Roman Reigns does not return without reason. He does not stand in the spotlight unless the story ahead is powerful enough to match the legacy behind him. The world waits for the next chapter, for the next confrontation, for the next evolution of the tribal chief. What Roman Reigns does next will not just influence his career, it will influence the future of WWE. He stands at the intersection of legacy and destiny, carrying the weight of everything he has built while preparing for the next breakthrough moment. His return is not the end of a story, it is the beginning of another legendary arc. This is the rise, fall, and return of Roman Reigns, a journey that continues to grow, evolve, and shape the heart of wrestling. And as 2025 unfolds, one thing remains certain: Roman Reigns is far from finished. His presence continues to command the industry, his legacy continues to expand, and his future continues to excite fans around the world. This is not just the story of a superstar. This is the story of a phenomenon, a force, a leader, a warrior, and a man who has redefined what greatness means in WWE. His rise inspired millions. His fall united millions. His return elevates millions. And now, as the next chapter begins, the world stands ready to witness the evolution of a legend who refuses to fade, who refuses to slow down, and who refuses to let his story end before its time. Follow, subscribe, and like.